What's going on, guys? FadeitLuie here, bringing you guys a brand new video. We're gonna be doing a mid-fade on my boy, so stay tuned. We started off by creating our first guideline with our go to effects contouring to his head shape. You want to make sure you contour this guideline to their head shape so the fade can flow better. Now that we're done bottoming them out, we can move on to our 2 guard all the way open and start to debulk the sides. We're going high enough that we attack the parietal ridge and then flick it out as much as possible. Now that we're done debulking the sides, we can move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. Before we blend out our initial guideline, we're going to go ahead and remove the stubble. Now that we're done removing the stubble, we're going to go ahead and try to remove our initial guideline. We're going to slightly close the lever midway and all the way closed and attack that line through millimeters. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can move on to the 1 guard all the way open and create our third guideline. We're then going to use this same guard and the lever to soften up the line and get it ready for the half guard. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe is greatly appreciated. Thank you. Now that we're done softening up the line with the 1 guard, we can move on to the half guard and erase the line completely. You want to make sure to stretch the skin as much as possible with your opposite hand to give you more space to blend. Now we're moving on to our 2 guard all the way open and we're creating our 4th guideline near the parietal ridge. We're then going to use this same guard and the lever to soften up the line and get it ready for the 1.5 guard. Now that the line is soft enough, we can move on to the 1.5 guard and erase the line completely. Sometimes there's still a faint line after using the 1.5 guard, so switching over to your 1 guard all the way open and using its corners would definitely help take it out. Now we're moving on to our 3 guard all the way open and we're going to use the comb to feed the hair into the clipper while fleeking out with our guard. We're using the 3 guard all the way open to prepare us for our clipper over comb method. Here we're using our previous guards to detail and make the fade as smooth as possible. Now that we're done preparing our canvas, we could go ahead and move on to our clipper over comb and continue to shape our silhouette. When the cutting blade is going up vertically, I'm blending, and when the cutting blade is going to the side horizontally, I'm debulking. When using clipper over comb, you want to make sure you take your time and detail as much as possible. Now we're using our Gouda effects to shave off the sideburns and beard. Moving on to a C cup, we're going to go ahead and start off at the bottom and work our way to the top arch and go as slow as possible, making sure the hair feeds into the trimmer. Now that we're done with the sides, we can move on to the back. We're starting off with our Gouda effects, creating our first guideline. You also want to make sure you don't press too hard, because then you'll make this guideline as harsh as possible, and then it'll be hard to take out. We're now going to debulk with the 2-guard all the way open. Now that we're done debulking with the 2-guard, we can move on to our clipper over comb and begin to make the silhouette as smooth as possible and shape up the calic area. Now that we're done using our clipper over comb method, we can move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. We're then going to slightly close the lever and erase that initial guideline. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can move on to the 1-guard all the way open and create our third guideline. We are neither occipital bone, so you want to make sure you spend more time here in detail. We're going to use this guard to soften up the line and get it ready for the half guard. Now that the line is soft enough, we can move on to the half guard and erase the line completely. As you can see, I'm detailing as much as possible due to the occipital bone. Now we're using our 2-guard all the way open to create our fourth guideline and prepare us for the clipper over comb method. Now that we're done softening up the line with the 2-guard, we can move on to the 1.5 guard and erase the line completely. Now we're moving on to our clip over comb method, and we're making the calic area as smooth as possible. You want to make sure you leave weight and shape up the calic area properly, because if you cut in, it won't look right. Here I'm detailing as much as possible with my no guard all the way open. I want to do a little test throughout the tutorial and see who's really paying attention. Leave a comment of my subscriber count down below if you made it this far into the video. My boy Ali did it. Moving on to the other side of the C cups, we're going to start off at the bottom and work our way to the top arch using the corners of our trimmers, making sure we don't press too hard. Now that we're done with our fade and lineup, we can move on to the top and begin to saturate the hair as much as possible so we can get the true length of the hair follicle. Now that we're done saturating the hair, we can start off by making our guideline through the middle of the cavities and connecting it to the sides of the parietal ridge. You want to make sure you feed the hair into the comb and make sure you pull it up as high as possible into your fingers, holding it as tight as possible and cutting it as straight as possible. Again, I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe is greatly appreciated. Thank you. Also, if you leave a comment down below, I'm 100% gonna reply to it. Now that we're done cutting the top and sides, we can move on to our Turkish razor and Derby premium blades and make them as crispy as possible. But before we do that, we're gonna apply some shave gel so the razor could glide a little bit better. Once you start using a razor, you want to stretch the skin with your opposite hand as much as possible and keep the blade at a 45-degree angle so you don't cut them. What's going on, guys? FadeitLuie here, bring you guys a brand new video. We're going to be doing a mid-taper on my cousin, so stay tuned. We're going to be starting off by debulking the side with a foreguard all the way closed. He did have a lot of hair, so he wanted to take a good amount off. As you can see, I'm flicking out with my clipper once I reach the parietal ridge, and then I'm also combing the hair in with my comb. Moving on to our clipper over comb method, we're going to debulk with the horizontal cuts and then blend with our vertical cuts. I'm also flicking out as much as I can with the 5 guard all the way open, just so I can make it as smooth as possible. Moving on to the back taper, we're going to start off by bottoming out with our Gold FX. Make sure not to press too hard when you're making your first guideline, because then it will be harder to take out. Now that we're done bottoming them out, we can move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. You want to make sure you make this guideline around 1 inch thick so you can spread the blend. We're then going to slightly close the lever midway and all the way closed to remove our initial guideline. Always make sure you use your opposite hand to stretch your skin to give you more space to blend. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated, man. Thank you. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can move on to the 1 guard all the way open and create our third guideline. We're going to then use this same guard and the lever to soften up this line and get it ready for the half guard. Now that we're done softening up the line, we can move on to the half guard and erase the line completely. Now that we're done with our lower guards, we can move on to the 2 guard all the way open and create our 4th guideline. We're going to use this guard to soften up the line and get it ready for the 1.5 guard. Now we can switch over to the 1.5 guard and erase the line completely. Sometimes the 1.5 guard doesn't really take out the line, so you can switch over to your 1 guard all the way open and use its corners to erase the line completely. Now we're using the 3 guard all the way open and the lever slightly closing it just to connect to the 2 guard all the way open. Now I'm detailing as much as possible with the 1.5 guard all the way open. Now that we're done detailing the bottom right corner, we can switch over to our gold FX and start off at the bottom right corner, working our way to the top arch, making it as crispy as possible. You always want to make sure you go slow and make sure the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer, because if not, then it won't line up properly. You also want to make sure not to press too hard, because the skin is very thin here and you could nick them with the teeth of the trimmer. We're going to use the Gold FX to create our first guideline and shave off his sideburns. Now that we're done balding him out, we can move on to the no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. We're then going to slightly close the lever to erase our initial guideline. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can move on to the one guard all the way open and create our third guideline. Again, we're going to use this same guard and the lever to soften up the line and get it ready for the half guard. Now we're using the 2 guard all the way open to create our fourth guideline. This is going to help us blend into the sides. Here we're using our 1.5 guard, and this is helping us connect to the 1 guard all the way open. Here I'm detailing as much as possible with the no guard, and then I'm switching over to the half guard to detail as much as possible with my corners. Now I'm using the 3 guard to connect to the 4 guard on the sides. We're then going to use some shave sticks to make sure he doesn't bump up, and use the foil shaver to make sure we remove all the stubble. Now I'm using my Gold FX to line up his C-cups. We're starting off at the bottom and working our way to the top arch, going as slow as possible, making sure the hair feeds into the trimmer. The reason why a lot of people struggle to line people up is because they're not feeding the hair into the trimmer properly. Now we're gonna go to the other side of the back taper and detail before we line him up. Now we're using our Go to FX to go against the grain and make sure we're lining him up properly. Now we're moving on to the left side of his C-cups. You also want to make sure you're not pressing too hard, because then you could cut them with the teeth of the trimmer. So, my cousin's hairline is a little bit lighter, so we're gonna make sure we start off at the middle and debulk a good amount using our trimmers. And then we're gonna work our way to the sides, making sure we go against the grain and that the hair feeds into the trimmer, because if not, it's just gonna keep moving and it won't cut properly. It's very important to keep combing and repeatedly comb the hair down and make sure it lays down properly. Again, I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you leave a comment down below, I'm 100% gonna reply to it. Now we're using our Turkish razor and Derby premium blades to make them as crispy as possible. But before we do that, we're gonna use some shave gel so the blade could glide better. And when you're using the Turkish razor or any other blade, you wanna make sure you pull the skin as much as possible and keep the blade at a 45-degree angle.